Hi mga online classmates! Welcome to my channel, and for today's video, I will help you with Quarter 1, Week 1 of Grade 8 Mathematics. So kung gusto nyong matuto kasama ako, pagtsagaan nyo lang itong video na to. At sa mga bago lang dito sa channel ko, please click the subscribe button, the notification bell, and also the like sign. You can also share this to your friends, baka sakaling makatulong. Ano pang hinihintay natin? Let's proceed to the video. Ay, wait. By the way, gusto ko lang ding i-share muna pala yung tinatawag nilang Most Essential Learning Competencies sa DepEd, or yung tinatawag nilang MELC. So ito yung basis namin ngayon in selecting the skills and concepts na ituturo sa mga students given the limited time for this school year.
Oh. Most essential learning competencies for week 1 up to week 2. Oh, no! Factors completely different types of polynomials. Polynomials with common monomial factor, difference of two squares, sum and difference of two cubes, perfect square trinomials, and general trinomials. Another is solves problems involving factors of polynomials. And since week 1 muna ang pag-uusapan natin, gawin nating mas simple ang ating mga objectives. First objective is to determine the greatest common monomial factors of given polynomials. Second is to write polynomials in their factored form. Last will be to factor the difference of two squares. Let us recall, a factor is a number or quantity that when multiplied with another produces a given number or expression. For example, pag pinag-multiply ang 3 at 2, ang makukuha ay 6. Therefore, 3 and 2 are factors of 6. Ganun din kapag pinag-multiply ang x at y, ang makukuha ay xy. Therefore, x and y are factors of xy. Factoring, it is finding what to multiply to get an expression. For example, para makuha ang 6, pwede nating i-multiply ang 2 at 3, ganun din ang 1 at 6. So, the factors of 6 are 2, 3, 1, and itself, which is 6. Now, let's try to find the factors of 2x squared. Pwede nating i-multiply ang 2 at x squared. Ganun din ang 1 at 2x squared. And then, you can also multiply 2x and x to get 2x squared. So, the factors of 2x squared are 2, x squared, 1, 2x squared, 2x, and x. Now, your turn.
Dude, crap!
You try to do activity 1. Write your answer in a one whole sheet of paper. So you need to list down the factors of the expressions written. Let us also recall yung tinatawag nating GCF, or the greatest common factor. It is the greatest integer that is a factor of both numbers. For example, the GCF of 12 and 18 is 6. To obtain 12, we can multiply 12 and 1, 4 and 3, and 6 and 2. So the factors of 12 are 12, 1, 4, 3, 6, and 2. Now, to obtain 18, we can multiply 3 and 6, 2 and 9, and 1 and 18. So the factors of 18 are 3, 6, 2, 9, 1, and 18. So ngayon, yung pinakamalaki na common sa kanilang dalawa, yun ang magiging GCF nila. So the GCF of 12 and 18 is 6. Oh. Now, try to do activity 2. So list down the GCF of the following expressions. Write your answer in a one whole sheet of paper.
Oh, come on.
Now let's have the first concept of week 1. The greatest common monomial factor. It is simply the GCF of the given monomials. Let us understand the concept using examples. Number 1, find the GCMF of 4x and 8x. So step number 1 is to list down the factors of each monomial. And then step number 2, we identify the common factors. So ayan, naka-encircle sila. And then step number 3 is to find the product of these common factors. So 2 times 2 times x equals 4x. So the GCF of 4x and 8x is 4x. Let us now apply the steps for example number 2. Finding the GCF of 3xy and 4x squared y. So let us list down all the factors of each monomial and then identify the common factors. So in this example, we have x and y, and then we multiply x and y to get the GCF of 3xy and 4x squared y. Example number 3. Write 3x plus 6x squared in factored form. So step 1 for the solution is to determine the number of terms. So in this expression, we have two terms, 3x and 6x squared. Step number 2 is to determine the GCF of the numerical coefficients or yung mga number na present sa ating expression. So ang GCF ng 3 at 6 ay 3. Para naman sa step number 3, hahanapin natin ang GCF ng mga variables or ng mga letters na present sa ating expression. So the GCF of the variables is 1 with the least exponent. So in this case, x will be our GCF. Step number 4, madali lang to. I-multiply lang daw natin yung GCF nung numerical coefficient at nung variables natin. So 3 times x equals 3x. So yan na ang ating greatest common monomial factor. Gagamitin natin yung GCMF na yan para makuha ang factors ng ating expression. Step number 5, i-divide natin yung buong expression, 3x plus 6x squared, sa ating greatest common monomial factor which is 3x. So ang makukuha natin ay 1 plus 2x. Step number 6, we write the complete factored form. Unang factor niya yung 3x, and then the other factor will be 1 plus 2x. So the complete factored form is 3x times 1 plus 2x. Okay, gawin natin activity 3. Sabi dyan, hanapin daw ang greatest common monomial factor ng 8xy and 2xy squared. Madali lang naman yan. Hanapin lang ang GCF ng numbers and GCF ng ating mga variables and then multiply them together. Then makukuha na natin ang kanilang greatest common monomial factor. And then another activity, activity 4, you write 2x squared minus 2x in factored form. So susundan lang naman natin yung steps kanina na ginawa natin with the previous examples so that we can identify or we can determine the factored form of the given expression. Let's have concept number 2 of week 1. Factoring the difference of two squares. Pag-usapan muna natin, ano nga ba ang perfect square na number? It is a number or term that is made by squaring a whole number or term or multiplying it by itself. For example, 4 is a perfect square since it is a product of 2 times 2. 25 is the product of 5 multiplied by itself. X squared is the product of x times x. and x raised to 4 is the product of x squared and x squared. Pag-usapan din natin, ano nga ba ang square root naman sa number? It is a value that when multiplied by itself gives the number. So the square root of 4 is 2, the square root of 25 is 5, the square root of x squared is x, the square root of x raised to 4 is x squared. Parang paatras lang siya dun sa ginawa natin kanina sa paghahanap naman ng mga perfect square na numbers. Ayan, so mag-ready ulit ng papel para naman sa activity number 5. So sabi dito, match the terms with their corresponding square roots. So meron tayo dito sa left side mga terms and their corresponding square root can be found on the right column. Okay, so ituloy natin. Which of these examples are difference of two squares? So let us analyze. Sabi dyan, no, difference of two squares. Okay, so ito yung sagot natin dyan. Numbers 1 and 2 were examples of difference of two squares kasi nga yung first and last terms nila are both perfect squares at yung operation involved ay subtraction. While in number 3, ang first term niya ay hindi perfect square. Si number 4 naman, ang involved na operation ay addition. Every polynomial that is a difference of squares can be factored by applying the following formula. A squared minus b squared is equal to quantity a plus b multiplied to quantity a minus b. So let's have this example. Factor x squared minus 4. So it is an example of difference of two squares. Step number 1 is to get the square root of the first term. Step number 2, get the square root of the last term. Step number 3, use the square roots to write the factors. The first factor involves addition, while the other involves subtraction. Hence, the factored form is quantity x plus 2 and quantity x minus 2. Okay, let's have another example. Factor x to the 4th power minus 36. So gaya kanina, no, step number 1, hanapin lang natin ang square root ng unang term natin. So the square root of x raised to 4 is x squared. Step number 2, hanapin natin ang square root ng last term. So ang square root ng 36 ay 6. Step number 3, we use the square roots to write the factors. So yung unang factor natin involves addition. So x squared plus 6. The other involves subtraction. So meron tayong x squared minus 6. So isusulat lang natin siya. Then the factored form is quantity x squared plus 6 multiplied to quantity x squared minus 6. Ayan, tingin ko ready na kayo sa ating last activity. Activity number 6.
Oh, come on.
Match the difference of two squares, yung mga nandyan sa left side, with their corresponding factors na nandyan naman sa ating right side. So, gagamitin lang natin kanina yung natutunan natin. Sabi kanina, no? Just get the square root of the first term, and then get the square root of the last term, and then the first factor will be the sum of the two terms. The second factor will be the difference of the two terms. Ganun lang po, kadali.
So that's it for week 1. Hopefully may natutunan kayo kasama ko. Sabi nga nila, hindi naman mahirap talaga ang mathematics, lalong-lalo na kung love mo yung teacher. So abangan nyo ulit yung susunod kong video para naman sa week 2 ng ating mga modules. Have a great week sa inyo and God bless!